What's up, everybody? Evan J. Thomas here with the Better Listen Up with Evan J. Thomas Show. In today's show, we have an awesome, amazing band that is about to release tomorrow a brand new 5-song EP. It's called Equals. But before we get to them, we're going to hit the intro. By the way, the band's name, Karma. Better learn that name now because they're going to be fucking all over the place. So here we go. Hit it. All right, as I bring them on, here we go. What is up, gentlemen? I got the band Karma here. These guys are going to be releasing, as I said at the very beginning, a 5-song EP tomorrow. So I'm going to go around the room. I want them to introduce themselves, tell them who they are, what they do with the band. I'm going to start with my man, Tyler. Let's go.
How's it going? I'm Tyler. I play bass.
Hey, I'm AJ. I play guitar.
And I'm Jack. I provide vocals and synthesizers.
So we got 3 of the members here. You guys have been releasing music for the last year or so. Amazing music coming your way tomorrow. We got a big one with a new release too. So it's a song Pendulum is coming out with the Equals. So the Equals album is actually the equal sign. So, that thing right there. Mm-hmm. And eventually,
I like that. I like that. We might incorporate that live.
kind of works better than trying to do this because that's just a 2 sideways or a V or scissors. I don't know. It could be
greater than symbol. Hey, maybe the name for another EP at some point.
Greater than or the lesser than, depending on which way you put it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And one is about ego and one will be about humility. That's perfect.
See, I'm coming up with shit already for you guys. So there you go.
We're not paying any royalties. I hope you're okay with that. I'm just kidding.
Damn it. Well, I will find that out eventually. So you guys are releasing this 5-song EP tomorrow. I want to know, over the last year since you guys started the band and started came together, how has this process worked for you in terms of putting out the music? Because obviously you guys have done it slowly to getting to this part. So let me start with Tyler on answering that.
I think when we got together and formed the band, we decided that we wanted to do it right, is the way I put it. So we started writing the first song, which was Silence. But before we even introduced the band, we wanted to keep it all under wraps. We wanted to have 2 or 3 songs in the chamber. So that way, it wasn't just surprise as a new band, and then you don't hear from us for a few months as we go back and do what we need to. So we took the time to make sure we had songs recorded, and then we kind of meticulously released them every 2 months or so. Mm-hmm. And got to the point now where we have a whole EP of them done.
And AJ, how do you feel about how that is releasing the music in that aspect? Where it's every 2 to 3 months getting to this point. Do you think that's just something that is how it should be in this era? Or is it something that, I don't know, you guys just kind of ran with?
I definitely think that that's what's important in this era. I feel like with the availability of streaming and everything, it's very important to keep the listener's ear. So instead of waiting a whole year to maybe even more than that for a whole album, release a single every 2 to 3 months.
And that's, to me, how it should work because everything has a shelf life. And as we all know, music has probably less of a shelf life than anything else. So I'm going to go now to Jackson with the music part. You guys have put together these 5 videos so far, and they have a very kick-ass, fuck that word, badass vibe to it. So it seems like you guys are kind of in tune in terms of how you want it visually to look all the way through with the album. Obviously, musically, it kind of works the same way. So did you guys have a situated way of recording this album with the songs and then the videos?
Situated? Was there a plan?
Was there a plan? Obviously, there must have been. Or you just threw shit together after the first one. I don't know.
Honestly, really, there was no plan. We just had a bunch of really good ideas that just seemed to stick. Everyone in this band is super talented and has really good ideas, and we all just seem to be on the same page. So if it works, why change it if it works? Funny enough, the equals idea, the imagery for the band and for the album was actually made by Mike, the other frontman of Karma. He came up with the idea of having those light up armbands that you see, which are kind of our trademark.
Yep.
And we were like, you know what? That's a really cool idea. I think that would be a great way to market us and a great way to make our music cohesive, our graphics cohesive. And so that's where the imagery comes out. And I'm a very visual person. So the meaning will often come after the imagery, because if something means a lot visually, it's easy to extrapolate meaning from it. So that's where the name of the album came from. That's where the imagery came from. So you can thank Mike for all of that.
And speaking of Mike with the imagery, now looking at your band photo that's out there that I just released, I know AJ just sent it to me the other day. It's silhouettes of the five of you. So what was the reasoning behind the silhouette of that? Whoever wants to answer it, feel free.
I'm just kidding. No. So we love the idea. We're very inspired by Sleep Token. We love the idea of anonymity. We love the idea of minimalistic imagery. And so the idea for silhouettes is, a simple image, I think, will stick in the brain a lot easier than something that's overly complex and overly complicated. So we decided to go with the silhouette idea to sort of give the illusion of mystery while also making an image that sticks.
And we just got Dane on the line here. So Dane just showed up.
Devine, what's up? No, just kidding.
So we have 4 of the 5 members. Obviously, Mike is still hanging out somewhere. He's like, fuck this.
He's on Shiprocked right now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's playing on Shiprock with some band. Oh,
he is doing some intensive marketing for us right now on Shiprocked. He is putting in a good name for all of us. So hopefully you'll see us on Shiprocked one day.
and instead of sitting in cold and snow like we are, he's on a boat in the ocean.
We can cover that song. I'm on a boat. No, I'm just kidding.
So, Dane, I want to welcome you to the Better Listen Hope Live and Jay Thomas Show, and just kind of introduce yourself a little bit with what you do with the band and go from there.
How's it going? I play drums, Karma. Huge shout out also to Kyle Wilkinson for writing the parts for the EP and everything and helping these guys really get their start. Fantastic guy. I'd love to meet him someday. I unfortunately have not had that opportunity yet, but AJ called me. We were in previous projects. Me and AJ go way, way back. He was like, I think 16 when we met. So I was probably like 14.
You were 14.
What was that, like 2 years ago? Because I mean, I swear AJ looks like he's 18 years old. But I know you're not. I'm just saying.
About 13 years now. And he called me one day and said that they needed somebody, and I couldn't have been happier to step up. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I mean, stepping up for this band, just with the music they put out already, has been unbelievable. So before you showed up, we were talking a little bit about the album Equals coming out, or I'm sorry, the EP coming out. Now the song Pendulum, where did this aspect of it come about? Because obviously this is the final song being released with the EP. I'll let whoever wants to answer it talk about the song Pendulum.
All right, fine. So for the longest time, I've had sort of a kick snare beat in my head for many years in my old previous project as well. And I'd always wanted to do a song that's similar to that. I think the first kick snare song pattern I ever heard was Billy Squire's The Stroke. And then I heard Closer by Nine Inch Nails, and then Death of Peace of Mind by Bad Omens. And I was like, dude, we got to have something like that. That is such a catchy thing. Oh, almost forgot. Porn Star Dancing by, can't think of the name.
My Darkest Days.
My Darkest Days. Thank you. That's another one. So there's all these kick snare pattern songs out there that are just so beautifully done, and they almost force you to move. I wanted to write one like that, but I didn't just want to make it like what's already been out there. I wanted to make it sort of creepy and existential, which is sort of what the whole idea of these songs are about, is sort of like an internal existential crisis in some way, shape, or form. In this case, it's about the fear of the future. And this song, I gotta say, was the hardest one to write lyrically, just because it's, there was a lot of insecurity going into this Karma project for me personally. This project started right after one of the worst years of my life. I got out of one of the worst relationships that had one of the worst breakups ever. And then I also lost my old band. We decided to go our separate ways, and there was a lot of uncertainty going into life. And so I decided, you know what? I'm so nervous. Why don't I just write a song about how nervous I am to go into the future? And that's where all this stuff comes from. So all of that uncertainty, that is very much a personal message about what I was going through at the time. And honest to God, it's been the best therapy that I've had so far.
Wow.
So that's what the song's about.
That's powerful, because the fact that you guys have all basically have already came from other bands, and you guys came together with Karma. And again, Karma's releasing a new EP tomorrow, Equals, that's going to be coming out. They have a new song, Pendulum, coming out tomorrow as well through Tag Publicity. I think I know somebody that's running that. So yeah. So I kind of want to get into the other guys coming into the band too. I want to know like what Tyler and AJ and Dane kind of all learned from their most previous band to come into this, on what not to do. Just give me one thing. I'll start with Tyler.
I would say what not to do. I think open communication is the best thing. What not to do is, you don't want to belittle somebody. You don't want to speak ill of somebody within the band and then just kind of let that fester and all that. Because if you let it, it's just going to be 20 times worse later on. So I would say open communication is definitely the best thing that a band can have. And I think all of us have pretty much embraced that from the get-go, really.
Okay, that was interesting. I just isolated you for a second. Kind of scary, you popping up so big on the screen.
I noticed that as well, but
at least he's attractive, so it wasn't too scary.
That is true. I'm not going to do it with myself, so don't worry about that. I'm not going to isolate myself. So AJ, I'd like to know, like, what one thing would you say you learned the most coming from your most recent project to this?
So I think that
projects?
Tyler hit a lot on like right on the head. And the other thing is like to recognize that every member that you recruit for your band has something good to put into it, and let them have that creative ability to each song.
So you kind of don't want somebody to just tell you what to do and be like, okay, that's it. That's how we're going to run things.
Yes.
You don't want a CEO. You want everybody to be, kind of like that together. So Dane, what about you? What one thing have you learned from any previous project coming into Karma?
That's kind of a tough one. I mean,
I know. I'm sorry. You had time to think, though, so you're there.
They hit like the major points, but even planning things too, honestly, like having a game plan, not even just for like a year or whatever, or like shows or anything like that, like everything, like rehearsals and doing things like this, like interviews, and actually getting together to do things, and just having everything kind of more solidified, I guess, is like a better plan. Because not saying we didn't have that, but it seems to be more of a theme here. Like we seem to be more consistent with the way that we handle things, and like we have like a schedule kind of,
Yeah, and that's what you should do.
I'm
going to go back to what Tyler said earlier about communication, how important that is with your band, and kind of going back and forth. AJ and I, since we started doing this together too, I got to say, this dude is on top of everything. Whenever I reach out, it might be at 7 a.m, you're on it. It might be 9 p.m, you're on it. So I appreciate all you guys being together on the emails, and especially AJ with getting back to me so quickly on what I need and what he needs as well. So great job on the communication. You could already see it there with the band in terms of that. So how excited are you guys tomorrow? I mean, I know that's an open-ended question and you're all going to say the same thing, but honestly, getting this EP finally out tomorrow, again, Equals, you can find it all over the social medias and also Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Music. What are you most excited for? And I'm going to start with Tyler again.
Great. I would say I'm most excited just to have my name on a piece of media that actually is a collection of songs. I haven't had the ability to be that way since like the mid to late 2010s.
Okay.
So it's nice to know, we have a full EP. We have songs that are it's a physical piece of media that I've been a part of and my name is on and I've recorded on. So it's just been a long time since I've had that, and I really enjoy that I have the ability to do that tomorrow.
Awesome. AJ, what about you? What are you most excited about?
I mean, I think Tyler again kind of hit it. I'm really excited that every member of this band had something to put in. It wasn't one, two, or three people at all that put their ideas together to create this EP. It was everyone, all of us, a collective idea.
And I'll go to Dane next.
I'm honestly really excited. Excuse me, for everybody to be able to listen to Pendulum, and like the people that have come to the shows kind of know what to expect, but I cannot wait for the listeners on like Spotify and like the other people that may have not caught the two shows to see what they really think and experience this song. It's going to be something special, I feel.
I'm right there with you, because the first time AJ sent it over to me, I was on my way down to Atlanta last week, and I like stopped and was like, holy shit, this is incredible. And I mean, I don't say that with everything, but when I heard this, and for me, it was more of a symphonic change of what I was used to listening to, or used to being told what to listen to. So you kind of see where I'm coming from with that, where the ambiance and everything of the song is like all over the place, but in a way that is like melodic and everything kind of fits together. So I'm going to go back to Jackson for his comment on what you're most excited for with this EP and the song. Feel free, either one.
Yeah, sure. So really, I'm excited to hear what people's opinions are of the song. I'm excited to hear what kind of emotions people draw from it lyrically, what kind of feelings it stirs in them musically. The thing that excites me the most is and always will be the live show. Being able to connect with the audience. I'll tell you, the best thing for me was at our second show, we already had people singing every single song back to us, except the one we didn't release. And I'm excited for people singing the lyrics back. That's going to be a lot of fun. I really love the reactions that people have. I think it was Amy from the Sound 228 who attended our second show. She had seen me in my previous project, and she ran up to me immediately and gave me a huge hug and was like, "Your voice sounds so much more free. Oh my gosh, your voice sounds so free." And I'm like, I get to experiment a lot more in this band. I get to hit notes that I never used to be able to hit. And Grant, Grant is one of our producers. He works primarily with vocals and song structure. He's been helping me a lot vocally. So being able to do that in the live show and being able to bring that to the audience, that is and always will be the biggest thing that I'm excited for.
And are you guys have any plans for an EP release out by Central Pennsylvania, or what are you guys doing with that?
I've pondered it personally. I have not brought it to the dudes yet, and but I think we should do something. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
There's 3 of them here that you can ponder it with after we get off here. So,
well, guys, we're going to be chatting after this.
Another thing I kind of am always curious about too is when you guys get out and in front of people, are you in like a character when you're out there? Not on stage. This is after everything, because on stage, obviously, you're what you are. But do you kind of feel like you're a character on stage compared to off stage when you meet people, or are you just who you are? I'll let whoever wants to answer that one go.
I feel personally like what you see is what you get. Who you see on stage, that's us.
Even with the hoods on and everything.
I will say with me, when I'm off stage and chatting and meeting with people, unfortunately, I'm kind of like a squirrel where I just kind of run around a lot, not in the same spot for too long. And that kind of is, I think, my persona anyway. On stage, I like to run around and do that. So never take it wrongly if I don't even notice you. I've walked past people that I've known for years, and I've turned back like 15 minutes later. I'm like, "Hey, I'm so sorry." So that's just my thing is I tend to move a little too quickly.
Yeah, for some reason I'm kind of like that too. It's kind of weird. Yeah, you just walk by people and you're like, you'll eventually get back to them, apologize, and then kind of go from there. So with this EP coming out tomorrow, like I said, it's going to be Equals. That's the name. You got
Mhm.
Pendulum coming out tomorrow as well. It's gonna be fucking amazing, and we're gonna be pushing it all over the place. Being a newer band, can anybody answer what you think most bands that are trying to come up where they fail to get to this point? Because there's a lot of bands that don't even release EPs. There's a lot of bands that will never release albums, but they'll release songs. Anybody can say kind of where that failure happens right before? Because I want to kind of teach newer bands what not to do to get to this point. So I want you to kind of give me something positive on what you can do. Anyone?
That's an
Um,
interesting question for real.
Yeah.
If
It came
somebody
out
else
of
has an
nowhere.
answer, go
There we
ahead, because I need time to think, actually.
I'll give you some
Have,
time.
have content, whether not even just like a social media thing,
Love it.
but like it's one thing if you put out a song, then you wait 6 months, you put out another song. Like you have that little bit of interest, but then that interest is gone. Whereas like doing the EP, like we have incrementally released songs,
Yep.
and it's all culminating up to this, but there's also something to lead up to. People have something to expect, and like there's nothing wrong with holding on to a catalog of music. I'm not saying to pump it out immediately, but kind of plan it right too. Don't give them something and then nothing. Kind of give them bits of something if you can.
And I love that because that's basically how social media works right now is pieces of things until you get it actually fully out there. Anybody else on what what kind of what
I
you see
might
in
say,
failures?
I might say learn how to track yourself with what you're playing rather than just bring it to a band. Because I used to do that too, with early bands on, just be like, oh, I got this great riff. And then we'd show up all together. Learn how to track it. And then you won't forget how to play certain parts. And then you'll be able to learn how to, do certain midiing and stuff like that. That might help bring a lot more fullness to the songs.
Makes sense. There you go. Anyone else? I mean, you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. Just asking.
So,
I would say,
go ahead, Tyler.
oh no, I was just quickly. I would say I think people they skip some steps. So nowadays there's festivals everywhere. Everyone's got a festival. There's a festival every 2 weeks, and I feel like some bands go, well, I'm just going to jump straight to playing festivals, and that's how I'm going to get known. Like my music's going to get out that way. So I feel like they not exactly a pay your dues type of thing. I don't really want to say that, but I feel
I will. They need to pay their dues to get out there.
yeah, I think
They
it's
need to put the work in. They can't just show up and be like, we're playing this festival, even though they
Right.
bought onto it. Get out there to live shows. Put your
Right.
music out there, like you were saying. Anyway, go
Yeah,
ahead,
it's-
Tyler. Sorry about cutting you off.
You're good. It's like piggybacking what Dane said with content. It's people might jump to playing festivals, but you don't have merch, but you don't have songs, but you don't have a YouTube channel. You don't have anything where people can come find you, or maybe you have one song you've been out there for 3 years, but you got no follow-up single. So it's like, content is a big thing. That's how it should be. But I think people try to just skip steps before instead of trying to do it right, I guess is the best way to put it. And I don't even know if we're doing it right, but I think we are.
No, with content and planning, that's kind of where you actually succeed. Because if you just wing it, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of bands that just wing it, but you guys are doing it systematically from beginning to end with the releases of your music. Jackson, did you have a pipe in on this?
Yeah.
One?
Yeah. Piggybacking off of what everyone else has said, content. Think of your band as a minigun. Always have a bunch of artillery loaded in the chamber because you're going to be spitting a lot of rounds in a short amount of time. Also be prepared to spend a lot of money because what you're doing nowadays, if you want to get noticed, is you're not just starting a band, you're starting a business if you want to get noticed. You are essentially, and I don't mean to put this bad juju on bands, but I'm just going to say it what it is. When you're a band, part of your job is to be a walking advertisement for your merchandise. Music doesn't pay anything the way it used to, unless you're signed and you make huge labels. Yeah, exactly. Unless you're signed and you're like huge, like number 1, number 2 musician in your genre on Spotify, you're not going to be making squat. The most amount of money you will make is merchandise. And make sure that every penny that you get, a large sum of it goes back into the project. Make sure that make sure it's eye-catching. Make sure if you need a graphic designer, get a graphic designer. If you just want to draw a shitty smiley face, that's perfectly fine. I don't know if I can cuss on radio. I hope I can.
No, you can.
but-
It's live, but yeah, go for it.
Okay,
Anything you want to say.
sorry. Yeah,
Just don't
yeah.
go.
If
Just
you
don't
if
go
you want to draw
racist or
if you want to draw a
political.
smiley face, I mean, the Nirvana did that, and it did great. I don't care what people's opinion is of Nirvana. I love them. But anyway, point is, always have content. Get ready to spend a lot of money, and I'll leave with the best advice that I've ever heard, which is, if you're going to start a band, have fun for a year. Like, do it willy-nilly for a year. When that year is up and you've had your fun and you put effort into trying to make content, make merch, do live shows and all that, decide if this is what you want to do with your life. Because, and I'm sorry to say this, but being a musician is not easy. You will never get back what you put into it, and you need to be okay with that if you want to make it. So that's me.
Incredible answer, because with what I see, with what I do, and how long I've been in this, there's one common denominator for bands that fail, and that is unrealistic expectations. If that doesn't make sense to anybody, unrealistic expectations is going to ruin any band that thinks they're going to be big within like months. It takes time. There is no overnight success anymore. I mean, at least I don't think so, unless somehow TikTok fucking picks you up and does something there. But
The
other than
latest
that,
example of overnight success you can take example from is the Hawk Tuah girl, and we all know what happened to
that's
her.
it. Yeah. And that was the 15 minutes of fame because all she did was say something stupid on a reel. So there you go. Exactly. So you're spot on. It's one of those things that, to me, unrealistic expectations ruin everything. Because if getting into a band, like you said, it's a business. A lot of people just want to do it for fun. Totally cool. There's different people in different aspects. But you know what? All said and done, if you want to run this band and actually try to do something with it, you do have to put back into it. Being a photographer, think about what I have to do. I have to buy camera equipment. I have to buy all this stuff. Nobody's just going to give me a job. I got to have this already here. Doing a podcast, I got to get all this shit together. I have to have a computer. I have to have microphones. I have to have backdrops. This is just something you put into it to put into your craft. So
You got to turn it into a snowball, man. You got to snowball that stuff. Eventually, it will get big enough, but it always starts with a small roll. You know what I mean? Don't take that out of context.
Definitely won't. Any last words before we go? I'll start with Tyler.
I would just say thank you to you for all of you done, and you will do. Thank you to anyone who has checked out the stuff, and I really hope people enjoy the EP.
AJ.
Yeah, again, I just thank you to Tag Publicity and Evan, and I just can't wait for everyone to hear Pendulum.
Oh my God. Yeah, because like I said, once I heard it, I was literally floored. I was actually at a gas stop when you sent it to me, and I sat there and I was like, holy shit, I got to play this again. So yeah, unbelievable. Dane, you're up.
Yes,
What would you like to say to end it?
Thank you so much for having us, and thank you, Tag, for this amazing being able to work with us and this venture with the EP. And I can't wait to see what's in store for Karma.
Holy hell.
2025 and beyond to offer.
So am I.
It's exciting.
Jackson.
I'm just going to say I am thrilled to be in this project, and I can't believe how many good things are coming our way, and we have nothing but respect for everybody who has brought us to this point. Thank you very much, Tag, for giving us the exposure that we were hoping for. Thank you to the listeners who continue to listen, I hope, hopefully because our stuff is good. And yeah, keep listening, keep supporting, and thank you again so much. We literally couldn't do this without you.
And
Absolutely.
speaking of listening, so not only do we have the EP coming out tomorrow, Equals, and Pendulum, on the Badass Radio Network, which is my radio station, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Time is a takeover with the band Karma. Not only did I have Tyler and AJ, but I got a final one with Jack. He jumped on and did one as well.
Well, you got one from Dane too.
Oh yeah, I did. Holy shit. So there you go. Oh my God. I did have them, almost all of them. So Dane did do one. That's right, because Mike is on Shipwreck right now.
Yep.
So thank you,
Yeah.
all four of you, for jumping on and actually doing that. But that is awesome. They picked their own songs for me to play for them, which are going to be played, and then the album is going to be played from beginning to end at the end. So when they pick their songs, it is going to be amazing. And again, gentlemen, thank you for coming on. We doubled my time that I said at the beginning. I said 10 to 15 minutes. We're at 30. So
Hey,
this is what happens when you talk and can talk well. So again,
You've
I
got
want to
good
thank
conversations going. Yeah.
I appreciate it. And Jack, thank you. Dane, to you. AJ and Tyler. Again, the band Karma. Tomorrow Equals coming out. That can be purchased everywhere or listened to everywhere on, YouTube. You have Spotify. You have Apple Music. And then obviously check them out. Make sure you spell the band name right. KVRMA. It's an upside down A for the V. Actually, almost an A. It's not really an A. Just a V. So that Yeah, it's a V. It's a V, but it looks like an upside down A, so it works out. So again,
That's
thank you
perfect.
guys all for watching the Better Listen Up with Evan J. Thomas show. Check me out on the Badass Radio Network and hit us up on tag publicity at evanjthomaspr@gmail.com. So till next time, you guys are amazing. Let's give it up for you guys in this EP tomorrow. It is going to be incredible. So until then, you guys rock on.
Thank you.